this super cute basket and turn it into something really sweet and easy. I got the ceramic basket from Hobby Lobby a couple years ago, but I've seen them every year, so I think it's safe to say they still have them. And all I did was I took 2 of those foam discs from the Dollar Tree. It comes in a pack of 2, and I did that ahead of time because I know styrofoam and the sounds can sometimes make people a little bit crazy. So I did that ahead of time. They fit in there fairly easy. I did trim a little bit, if you can see, to kind of weasel it in there. The next thing I'm going to do is add some moss. So the one thing you want to do is make sure you don't see that foam. And one trick or tip, if you will, is, the more you have to put in your design to cover that foam, because of course you don't want to see the foam, the more money, right, it's gonna cost you. The more retail value the retail is going to be for your customer. And sometimes with smaller pieces, the tag has to match. If you're not selling these pieces and you're just making them for your home or your gifts, of course, spend all you want. So I'm going to take some of this moss and just come in and put it right down in. It's messy, and I do want it to be a little fluffy and a lot, kind of. So I'm just going to push that down in, and it looks really cute even just by itself. What I am going to do is I'm going to take a couple of U-pins, and they are these little, oops, I just dropped a whole bunch. I'm going to take a couple of these U-pins and just add them in to kind of secure the moss so that it doesn't go anywhere. I mean, I know the picks are going to keep it in, and the florals that we're putting in are going to keep it, it's going to keep it in place. But as I put those in, I don't want it to take from the side and kind of crunch in. So I do want to keep it in its place so that it comes right out to that edge. The first thing we're going to do is add in some of our, let's add in some white first. Well, no, let's add in some purple first. I guess it doesn't really matter. But let's just start adding. We have some dark purple. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. Teeny tiny little bit of glue, and start going right in, and I'm going to push it right down in so that it comes kind of, again, I don't want to lose the basket. I don't want to hide that. So I don't want it to come up too high. And so we're going to take just a couple of pieces and start adding them in right to the center first. Again, nice and short. I did already pre-pick these so that they had a little metal edge to it so that we didn't have to do that together. And then I'm just going to add in some light color, some white, a little bit of Astilbe in there. So I have some eucalyptus, tulip, a dark tulip, and some Astilbe. And that's all we're going to do. We're going to keep doing that all the way around. Let's just keep adding. And as we go along, we'll know what we want to add, what colors we're going to put in places. In the coaching group that I'm a part of, we are really work on, where we're placing, why we're placing, and that sort of thing. And so sometimes it's just, where you want it, really. A lot of times I'm doing a pattern or something very specific, but then sometimes we just go a little bit rogue like we are today. So I'm just going to keep going with that all the way around and make sure I'm getting the greenery in, the tulips in, making sure they kind of spill over the edge just a little bit. Like this one was perfect. That's why I didn't want to put that one in the middle. Just kind of spill it over the edge, nice and easy. If you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to us so that you can never miss our videos. Also, if you go over to learnfrommelissa.com, you will find a list of things that we may be able to help you with. So, so cute. So just, I like that dark color in there, giving a lot of contrast. And then sometimes I might just add a little bit of curve of my own, right? Just get that in there. We are going to add a bow and a nice little bunny pick to this. Giving it a little bit of character. And we'll leave a spot for the bow right there on that corner. Perfect. Trying to make sure I have a little balance here so that all the colors aren't collected together. And then again, already you can see how that little bit of moss is helping us tremendously to not have to put in too much just plain too much, period. I do like it really cute. Again, our bow is going to come over here on the side, and then we're going to continue to the back. So I'm going to do this whole thing that we just did on the front. We do that same to the back, and just make sure we're getting all those colors in. So if you look in the description of this video, I will have a brief description of some of the things we used, some of the SKUs we used. If you are on our email list or our newsletter, I'll put the tall one kind of in the center. You should have received the link to this video. So when we have them, we'll send it right to your email so that you have it, so you really don't miss out. And if you don't have a pick machine, don't worry. I did use a pick machine on this, on those little guys, on the little greenery, so that I was able to use more from the stem. But if you don't have one of those, don't worry. Let's see what we got over here. Maybe one over here, purple. Let's see what we got. See how that looks from the front. Wait, I'm going to put one of these in here. Oh, well. And then sometimes we might even, how many do we have? We have 4 left. Sometimes we might even pluck off one of the, just one, to replace that color. Because looking from the front, I might say, oh, I really could use a dark purple over here, but now I already have that filled and I don't have room for it. So I might just pluck off this one and add one of the dark purple and, you know, swap it out, which is totally, totally fine. So we're just going to find a way. If it doesn't work the way we want it to or the way it is, we're just going to figure out a way and make it work, right? So I'm going in, and I'll show you where I pulled these from so you kind of have an idea of what pieces I put in and why. So the Astilbe came on a bush like this, and I plucked it apart. I made it shorter, so I cut them and then just cut them in little tiny pieces, able to go into a smaller basket. And then the greenery pieces, I actually used a whole bunch of these, and they were on a stem like this, great to go in a grapevine, but also I just plucked each one of these off and added that metal stem to the bottom so that I could use it in a smaller project. Perfection. Perfection. And then maybe we can get that going with one of these. Super quick little fun. Now I did do obviously some work ahead of time where I prepped ahead so that the video itself would go a little bit quicker. Super, super cute. Every time you put this in, the only thing you really want to make sure is that it goes into that foam. You want to make sure it goes into the foam. The last thing you want either for yourself or for a customer is to have them, you know, moving it or playing with it, or, you know, their husband picks it up or their spouse picks it up and moves it, and it, you know, comes apart. And then they're like, wait, what happened here? Okay, so again, I'm leaving this little spot over here for the bow that we're going to add in. Just a minute here. In fact, we're going to add that in right now. Before we add that, let's make our little bunny, because the bunny is going to be just darling. I did buy the bunny itself. Let's see how bad that's going to be. I want it to be a little bit shorter here. That's going to be good, I think. Perfect. I don't want it sticking up like crazy, but what we're going to do is just add some fun little beads to the bottom here. Enough to get it all the way down to where we want it. And then I'm just going to glue this and keep control of it as I kind of work it down. It's going to go in the back here. There we go. I'm just going to go for it, right? I'm just going to go for it. There we go. So from the back, I have this cute little bead thing going on. Looks really cute. And of course, I can see it from the front. Nice little added touch there with that, with the beads. And then let's go for a bow. I have a couple more pieces that we may put in. Maybe we won't. We'll see. Okay, I went for a designer ribbon. I know this piece isn't going to be a, you know, a high dollar amount, but I did want a really cute ribbon to go in there. So I'm going to take a non-wired, just a floppy ribbon, paired with a beautiful green. Backside is pink. This is a D. Stevens ribbon. It's gorgeous. Really nice lacing and trimming. You can do any ribbons, but this is a 1 inch. 1 inch. So this is a 1 inch, and this is a teeny tiny. I don't know what this is. Really little. I don't know what this one is, but it's super little. 1/2 inch maybe? No, it's less than 1/2 inch. Anyway, not wired is my point. So I'm going to take it and kind of just line it up here. Make sure I have two really nice edges. And then I'll add it to a zip tie and a pick. But watch what we're going to do. So I'm just going to take this carefully, make sure it stays. This is going to have a little tiny, I do want to, the good thing about a tail is it can be, if it's too long, you can always cut it. So I'm just going to take that really tight. And pinch everything together. You can see the inside of that pink, which is gorgeous. Okay, so I have a tail, one loop. It's really tiny. Pinch. This loop is going to be a little bit bigger. You'll see why in just a second. a little bit bigger, pinch. Twist. Now you're not difficult, just a little tricky to get all of those ribbons together. Not all, but just the two ribbons together to keep them nice and firm against each other. You'll see what I'm going to do in just a minute. And then this one's just going to be a little bit bigger. So I have a little bit of a playful, you know, a little bit of a playful color in there with that light purple and the polka dot, but that edging with the green and the pink underneath makes it feel super, makes it feel super. I don't know what word. A little bit of luxury to it. Just going to add that zip tie again, nice and tight. Now the good thing is that you won't see that zip tie. We are going to hide it, but I want that zip tie to come to the back. And we're going to kind of pull it apart over here, pull it apart over here, and then take my U-pin and then add it to the top right through. So again, I'm just going to take that U-pin, I'm going to go right through the top, like right over the top. There we go. And then I'm going to just shape that a little bit so that it starts to become like it's supposed to be that way, which it is supposed to be that way. So it looks really, really cute from all the sides. And then I'll just add a little bit of glue. It's just a little easier to do it with my glue gun here. Be careful you don't, oopsie, dripping. Be careful you don't burn your fingers. I'm just going to slide it right in there. Really cute. I'm going to hold it for just a second. See, that's still wet. Hold it for just a second while it stays, while it dries. And then we're going to add a little bit of something to that bunny, which I probably should have did before I put it in, but it's fine. Okay, then I'm just going to shape our bow here. I don't want that to touch the ground, and if it does, which it does, I'm going to just cut it a little bit, a little tiny bit, just enough so that it doesn't touch the That is darling. Just a 3 little loop. That middle, that first loop I did was the smallest. And then here's what we're going to do. We're going to just take that ribbon and just real slightly, you could leave it the way it is, but just real slightly take it off the top. Just real slightly, so that it's just off there, because remember, it is not wired. So toward the bottom of the ribbon, it's still on and kind of keeping it shaped that way. Just really, really cute when you look at that from the side. Darling. Really cute. Okay, and then, now you don't have to do this, so you can be a little bit, tiny bit extra, but our bunny, even though our bunny is cutie pie, we're going to add a little bit more cutie pie to our bunny. And I'm just going to take, let me get you in here. Oopsie. Oopsie. Oops. Well, I glued him in, so I can't pull him out, which, of course. I'm going to take that. It's too long. Too long meaning it'll go all the way. Oh, I don't know where that went. Here it is. It'll go all the way through the bunny, so I don't want to. Need to cut it a little bit. There we go. Come on. So I'm going to go around the little bunny, like give it a little collar. Okay, just going to give it a little collar. Now you could do this with a string of pearls. You could do this with just about anything. Just add a little bit of extra to your piece here. That's all we're doing. Personalizing. If you want to add a little bit of glue, now is your chance. So it just has a collar right now. And then we're going to add a teeny tiny little bow. And then with the bow, I'm going to add a pin with a bead on the top to just keep it in place and be something cute instead of something, you know, not cute. Okay, teeny tiny. That is the sound of my glue pot, sorry. Oopsie. Teeny tiny little bow. It's a long one. Let's get those out of the way of danger. I'm going to go right through the top. Just trying to be patient. Trying to be patient. Tiny bit of glue, tiny bit. Just to hold everything in place. Or tack everything in place, I guess I should say, since it's so little. Adorable. Super cute, super little. Y'all, this was super fun and enjoyable for myself. I hope that you enjoyed. It is darling. Just looking to see if we need any more greenery and anything. I think we're good, but we might be able to put a little bit more right here, since we do have it all set and ready. One piece there. Let's see, do we need anything anywhere else? I absolutely love, and we'll put this piece right over here. Usually I just put our extras in the extra bin, but these are already picked and specifically for this, so we may as well. Adorable. One thing that I want to show you, if you don't have a pick machine, which they are an investment, what you could do, and I have this sitting here just to show you specifically, hold on. What you could do is there are these wired picks. They're just wooden wired picks. They got a point on the end and they have wire attached to them. So what you could do, remember I said I used one of these and I plucked it off and added a pick to the end. And I did that because this part obviously is not, it's not sturdy enough to go into the piece. So what you could do if you need, what you could do is you can add one of these picks right to the side and take your wire and kind of go through and around and through. So just because you don't have a pick machine doesn't mean you can't do what I did. They sell these at Hobby Lobby. It'll just take you a little bit longer, but this is how I did things in the beginning for a very long time. So now, and if you don't trust it, you can add a teensy little bit of glue. So now, instead of having those picks, now you have your own little pick machine, right? Again, takes a little bit longer, but totally doable. I hope this was inspiring to you. I hope you're subscribed if you haven't already. This is absolutely darling, super, super cute. We'll definitely go in our Etsy shop and in our shop for the spring. Really cute and simple and easy and not a bajillion dollars, right? This is Melissa from Sincerely Creative Mom. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're following us. I hope you're subscribed. And I hope to see you again in the next video. Check out the description for some of, not all, but some of the SKU numbers for this piece. And also check out learnfrommelissa.com for everything else we can assist and help you with. I'll see you next time.